Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. I am your host for today, Mr. Liam Cross. This is Ero Ps F1 at the Hungaroring, Budapest, Hungary, for 35 laps of action around one of the quicker circuits on the calendar. A fantastic place to drive. I was a stand-in for today, so apologies if I'm not up to my A game. I don't want to be here. No. Yeah, we have dynamic midday approximate. That's all good. Everything's good. Safety cars and oh my god, that'll be sorted out. Let me see. What am I trying to do? I'm not trying to invite anyone. Settings, audio. Turn that audio down, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Hello. Hang on. And I'm back. I think you can see qualifying in Hungary is a wet affair. I do not know the weather conditions for the race today. This is going to be an exciting one. Nevertheless, Aurelian, unfortunately, not here for the championship battle. Jensen looking to extend his slim lead. It's actually, I apologise, it's not a lead at all. He is, from memory, 8 points behind. Surely after today he will extend his lead. IRT Demangle, or Siab, going P1 on 128.3. Expect this track to dry up as the session moves on. And with some high fuel, there's going to be quite a few interesting laps on display for us today. I assure you of that. We're going to go for a bit of an ASMR commentary session today, I think. So it'll be a little bit, fun, nice, subtle. And I believe there'll be a lobby restart at the end. Oh, dear, it was a Haas losing control of the car quite viciously there. Not rotation, so it's going to be Julian losing control of the car. So there was a few people that can't make it today. I was supposed to be racing, but I'm now in the commentary boxes. Ken goes provisional pole with a 128 flat. Josh wasn't able to make it today because of some wheel issues. Mikulitsky had the only way to say it, his controller died. Quite a ferocious death, so he will not be driving either today. As everyone is saying, I don't know what reverse Hulkenberg mode means. I don't know what that means. Sniper or Algard, I believe. Who just improved? Algard? Yes. Or Jacob. Someone, I don't know who it is. I don't know anything now. Chiju Jensen going 7 tenths faster than the car behind. I will perkin up for the race. Don't you worry. Gonna get a flag in sector 1. It's a mistake. Is he letting a car through? I believe he is. Yes, not getting in the way of Algard on a flying lap. In a wet session, you can do multiple laps. Hot lap, cool down, hot lap, cool down. And in Hungary especially, even in the dry, you can do cool down, hot lap. So, wouldn't surprise me if we're going to see a lot of people setting lap after lap after lap consecutively. We're going to find out. The Radian is not too happy that there is raining qualifying. It doesn't affect him, so I'm not sure why. Wouldn't love a yellow flag, yes. I find some of these yellow flags a bit harsh. They're just people going a little bit slowly. I'm not entirely sure they deserve a yellow flag. However, that is the way it goes. Hungary, you are quite slow for most of the track because it's a very, very small track. Track width, you know, people call it Monaco without walls. It's a bit not stereotypical. Overdone, I'd say that comment is. I don't believe it is Monaco without walls because the walls are actually pretty close anyway. But it's one of those things. Monaco is going to catch a lot of people out. It's a slow track, but very, very challenging. There's momentum swings and whatnot. You know, let's say, what can I say? For people currently watching, please comment in the chat. Give me stuff to talk about. It's the Mangle going for a lap now. Excellent. No, actually, we're gonna do a track guide. Yes, we are. We're gonna do it with Ero Snowken, who's finishing his lap. So maybe not Ero Snowken, maybe someone else. Shizu saying no. Ero Kenny. Kenny looks like he's starting a lap. He's only on 35% ERS, but he can still set a good one coming across the line. And actually, he goes, my apologies, he goes pole position at 127 flat. That's a fantastic lap time from the Ero driver himself, hailing from Finland. It's lovely stuff, and he is slowing the car down now. So I've again misjudged who's on the lap and who isn't. What about Demangle? Demangle's on 50%. He can go for another lap. Surely he's 8 tenths up though, so I have a feeling this is his lap. Oh, nearly using the car out of the final corner, and it's going to put him P1 at 127 flat. These tyre these weather conditions are clearly ramping up. Things are getting a little bit more lively. These 17 drivers are excited. T-Brand retiring in the pit lane. I do not know. Or maybe on track. I didn't get to see, unfortunately. He may be saving a qualifying ban. He may have just crashed. It's a very, very challenging track. So that would all be understandable. Next up, across the line, will be Tam Tam, Alpine's new recruit who was driving. And yep, confirmation of a lobby restart. Tam Tam goes P2 at 127 flat as well. These lap times getting very close together. Tam Tam in the Alpine. How do I say it? Rotation now going at 126.2. A stonking lap time from him. Cementing himself in pole position for now. Is this Ferrari setting a lap? Or doing another cooldown now, but he's like Ken is entering the pit lane. The Mangle is struggling out there a little bit. I believe he's out of fuel, which is never a good thing, I'm not going to lie. Coming on the pit lane, who is out on track? Not Jensen, so it's going to be Sniper on an out lap. We only have 5 minutes of qualifying left to go, so it does not look like there'll be a dry end to this session. But that just means it's going to be spicy. I'm excited. 5 laps. ChatGPT is a liar. Yeah, Aston Martin is a random team. Sniper starting his lap in Hungary. We're going to do a little track guide with him. Staying in 7th gear, the main straight of Hungary, not the longest one. 7th gear is an optimal gear condition. Slowing it down for turn 1, then coming around kink of turn 2. It's not really a turn, but in the wet it is challenging nevertheless. Sniper flying it around turn 3 at a lovely long hairpin. Another kink of turn 4, and then up the hill, coming up to turn 5. Slowing it down from 7th to 5th gear. You can not take it flat out, but you don't necessarily need to brake for that corner. Then swinging it around for turn 6, coming down into turn 7, slowing it down just before the 50-meter board. A lovely little chicane, flawlessly done from Sniper. And then you have not a Maggots and Beckett section, but it's a left, right, fast flowing section. The Sniper is pushing with everything he has. This track is getting drier, and I'm not entirely sure the rain is here. So my earlier prediction may have been wrong. We're going to see. But what can Sniper do up the final stadium-esque section? 2 hairpins back to back, and Sniper enters the pit lane, and I think that's a sign of the times. I think he's going onto the soft tyre. Let me see, has anyone else joined him? Everyone has joined him, yeah, and Sniper, rightfully so. DRS enabled, aborting that lap. He will have time to set one more lap time on the soft tyre. So it's still going to be a spicy lap time, don't get me wrong, but it's just not what I expected. Who is out on track currently? It looks like Pangri, no, not quite. Algard is on track. On the soft compound of tyre. But the earlier you start, the colder the track will be. I'm not entirely sure if this was a smart move from Algard, unless he plans to do a second outlap. And then he could be very, very, in a feisty position here. Although the dry is a bit more predictable than the wet. The wet, track evolution, you don't actually know the line. This is a no assist tier, of course. So it'll be interesting stuff to see what happens. And Algard coming up to the final corner to start his lap. DRS activated. Will he use 8th gear? I imagine so. Yeah, very early on, but he's going to brake just before, or just after the 100-meter border, slowing it down, touching the curb. Lovely. Back up into 4th gear. You need to get a good exit out of that corner. Coming down to turn 3, swing it wide. You don't really need to touch the apex. Algard opting for a wider line, sweetening it back for turn 4. Lots of swinging, lots of left and right. But yeah, very, very good stuff. Let's get a truck map up. Swinging it around, and Algard's invalidated. Oh, dearie, dearie me. That's not what you want to see. So Algard is going to have to go again. Can he save the ERS? I'm not so sure. Lars sitting at 1:16.9 on the soft tyres. That would be a good lap time to beat. Or a challenging one at least. Lars, if he has the fuel in the tank, which I believe he does, could go for a second lap there. He does seem to be slowing it down a little bit. Intelligent thinking from him, maybe putting a little bit more fuel in the car, preparing for what is about to come. Next up across the line is going to be Sniper Arctic starting a lap time. Going to need to find out that Algard slowing it down, just about saving his ERS, but he's going to start a second lap time. Pangrio. I'm not entirely sure what's going on with Pangrio and Ken. I think they're both letting each other through a little bit preemptively. Jensen has invalidated his outlap, but that is really of no consequence to anyone. Julian also went on outlap. Oh, nearly blocking someone, it looks like. I'm not entirely sure what Julian's doing. Even if that wasn't a hot lap from the guys behind, that's still some shoddy driving. Jacob next. Enzo not on a lap time. Who is on a lap time? I don't know. Oh, God. Okay, things are getting hectic in Hungary. Lars with a little bit of a weave. What is going on here? Do any of you know? Is someone in this train on a lap? I don't believe so. If they are, I feel very sorry for them. Who's on the lowest DRS possible? Algard. I believe Algard may be the first person to solo lap time. No, Sniper is, my apologies. There's a yellow flag in the final sector, but that's not for any issue. Sniper dragging it a little bit too wide, possibly. Getting some dirt on the tyres. And where's this lap going to put him? Is it on pole? Yes, it is. Can Algard beat him? No, 1:16.4 is beatable. Algard next up across the line. He goes P2 on 1:16.7, followed up by our potential championship leader after tonight, Shizou Jensen, around the final corner, activating the DRS, pushing to the line. It's a 1:15.7. He's taken pole position with ease, but can rotation take it? A very quick driver in his own right. It's going to be close, and he does take pole position on 1:15.5 for him. Ero Kenny. No, Shizou Sane up next. Can he beat those drivers? No, he can't. He goes P3, followed by Rail Jet going P5, and there's going to be an Alpine driver or Tam P7, followed by his teammate Enzo, who goes P3, 1:15.8. Quite a few people that Lars has invalidated. He's going to fall down the pecking order. Bumpia next up across the line and pushing with everything he has. Can he upset the front runners? It's going to be interesting to see. No, he can't. He goes P7 with his teammate P5. Might be a little bit dirtier, hindering or benefiting that lap. Julian goes P7. A 1:16.1 with Kenny just making it up into P6. And that has been qualifying for Ero Ps F1 in Hungary. That was an exciting affair of a rotation. A very impressive start from him, but he's going to have a ×1 grid penalty, and we're going to see, can he get that removed due to the natural lobby restart? It will be interesting, but if not, Jensen will be the man on pole position. Rotation on pole position. Apologies for not being able to read out that list, but you can see it there. We're going to see, is rotations penalty fair or not? It will be interesting to see. I may have to do a little bit of impromptu shooting, but there is a lobby restart. We're going to be invited, and actually rotation agrees that it is his fault, so clearly there will not be his penalty being removed. So that's good stuff. Looks like the race will be dry. I can see that, but Jacob is now leaving the session to set up his new lobby. So give us 5 minutes to sort this out. I need to get the grid working. Thankfully, I did get them in order. So let's see what's going on migrating host. He's going to be migrating host as loads of people leave. I'll be getting my invite shortly, but I'm going to take a quick break. So give me 1 minute, and when I'm back in the new lobby, that's it. And let's see some Hollywood action here. Who's still in the lobby and who's causing carnage? Apparently I'm on board with Jensen, but I'm clearly not on board with Jensen. There's lots of ghosts. Who isn't a ghost? Who hasn't got the memo? It looks like Enzo hasn't got the memo. And he's squeezing Demango. Demango's lost the tyre. It's because of Bumpia. Fantastic stuff. Shooting over 5 seconds up, I know. Incredible stuff. Lots of ghosting action here. I have no idea who's a real person and who isn't. Actually, I think it may just be Julian. Julian's tyres have just combusted. He didn't even hit anything. And there's been a safety car. What a shock. Fantastic action in Hungary as I now leave the session. Yes, indeed. Yeah, it's a PlayStation and PC league with separate, divisions and rankings for both tiers. Just in case you forgot, Newcastle beat Tottenham 6-1 today, 5-0 after 20 minutes, and Newcastle are going to the Champions League. Just letting you know. Settings check. Settings check. Yep. That's all good. Yep. That's all good. Yep. That's all good. Yep. That's very good. Yep. Long. Yep. Very good. I can't see the creditor. Whoops. Okay. Okay. Beautiful. Yep. 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 That should be all right. Yeah. Yep. 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 Go. Go! Yeah, get me out of this shit. Oh, my apologies. Pardon my French. Didn't happen. Okay. 35 laps of action. Remember, no qualifying session for the second part of this Grand Prix. It's going to be a good one. Yeah, I am speaking Zivlant. I am speaking the French. The race should be over by 1920. I hope. I hope you want to stick around a little bit longer. Yeah. Don't think there'll be any interviews today, so I apologise for that. But you know, I'm a standing baby, I'm a standing. We're waiting for players. The lobby has been reset. Rotation is still P6. I hope he's P6. If he's not P6, we may have to do another lobby restart. And if you do another lobby restart, and Enzo can't do his race, and it's just you know, it's a disaster. And a 3, and a 4, and a 5, and away we go for Ero Ps F1 in Hungary. Jensen and Enzo getting fantastic starts, looking down the order. Rotation moving up a position already on the inside of Ero Kenny, and there's a bit of a late send by Demango, and there's a spinner, and I believe that is... No, it's not Kenny. Who is it? Who is it? It was Shizu saying who's lost control of the car, not how he would have wanted to start his Grand Prix. We're going 3 wide into turn 3. Kenny having to defend from Julian, keeping the move for now. Rotation all the way up into P2 already. That 5-place grid penalty barely affecting the Spaniard, Swedish, Syrian. Looking down the order, oh dear, Kenny's lost control of the car somehow, some way, I'm not entirely sure. Letting his teammate through, a disastrous start for Ferrari. T-Brand making the overtake on Leon, and there's contact, there's lots of contact actually. Sniper also being spun around. I have no idea what just happened there. Algard in the wall, Lars losing a lot of time. Carnage on the first lap, but no retirements as of yet. Looking back up the field. This field already getting quite spread eagle. Probably shouldn't be saying that way, but very, 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 very shocking stuff. Rotation all the way up into P2 already, and he's looking hot on the heels of Shizu Jensen. To the inside, rotation goes. Is he going to make the move stick? He goes a little bit deep. Jensen looking for the switchback, but rotation on the softs, Jensen on the hards. I think this battle only has one victor. Interesting. Let's see what tyres everyone is on. The gainers, Pan Grio going from P16 to P9. Some fantastic stuff there. T-Brand getting the overtake. Oh, actually going too wide into turn 5, and there's been a yellow flag, and it's rotation who's lost control of the car. His start went from, it was so good. His start was so good, and it looks like it is all crumbled quite quickly. These very hot tyres are simply uncontrollable. You do have to wonder if someone's lost some tyre wear. Yeah, rotation letting 2 drivers through. They're not looking to cause too much of an issue. Fair enough. Looking down the order, is anything else happening? I'm not entirely sure. But for Jensen, that was a welcome spin. I think Jensen's not going to be complaining about that too much, as rotation was looking feisty on those tyres. And if he was to have overtaken Jensen, where he did overtake Jensen, he would have been given free rein to control the rest of the race. But spin has unfortunately put him all the way to the back of the pack, and I fear there may be a retirement in the pit lane. No, there is not. That is good stuff to see. Rotation sticking with it. T-Brand falling a little bit behind. I think there may have been another crash with T-Brand actually, now that I think about it. So let's go, let's see what's up. Jensen. Controlling this race though, Demangle. Very, very good start from him to be up to P2. He really did send it into the first corner on the first lap. Thankfully, it was no contact. Good stuff. It's been an overtake rotation, making the move on Ero Strangler. Smart stuff from both drivers. An easy win possible. But there's always a safety car, and in Hungary, it's relatively easy to spin. There's a yellow flag at the back of the field. It's for T-Brand losing the control of the car once more. Not been the best start for this race for him. All rotations in the control of the car again. His tyres are simply not up to standard. It's unfortunate for rotation. But these tyres are a bit too hot. Possibly rotation forgetting to lower his tyre pressures. It was a lobby restart, and there's always one person who forgets to change their setup. So it could be rotation, unfortunately. Got a very good start against all odds into the pit lane, and yeah, I believe rotation might be retiring from this race. Can barely keep it in the pit lane, in fact. The car is so slippery. One, I didn't get to 3 yet. Rotation retires from the pit lane. That's unfortunate to see because he looked like the main rival for Jensen today, but it's not going to be T-Brand. And a lonely place now, 15 seconds in last position. There's a little train forming from Algard down to Ero Stranger, Sniper and Kenny. And Lars trying to catch up to the DRS of Shazoo Sane just ahead. Snoken, the F2 reserve, putting on a good showing as of right now in P9. When these guys get onto the mediums, I only just realised Olympia on the medium compound of tyre. The speeds are going to pick up quite considerably. The hard is not a fun tyre to be on. It's slow, you feel groggy. It doesn't work. Oh, Wimpy getting very close to the back of Relentless Jet, and I don't fear, I expect an overtake. Jacob already flashing, Wimpy flashing as well, to be fair. These two pushing like their lives depend on it. Wimpy pretending to go for an overtake, not quite, but Jet has went wide. Wimpy is going to get a second bite at the cherry. Bite at the apple, I know, pivot the cherry, I don't care. Around the outside, I think this move is unlikely. Yes, it is, and I believe Snoken's had a little bit of a spin. Really unfortunate to see. I don't know exactly why. But yeah, he's lost control of the car and now finds himself down in P15. Possible contact with the man he was battling, Panos. As Jacob is going a little bit slowly, backing up this train ever so slightly. We've got 9 people watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the link in the description below if you'd like to get involved in more of the action. This is Ero, the true home of league racing. Going with Jacob and Wimpy going very wide. Wimpy going to the inside of Jacob now. The move looks more than on, in fact. Jacob does brake a little bit later, but it's going to be hard to keep the position. Wimpy getting ahead before the exit of turn 1. And yeah, down the descent to turn 3. There's nothing Jacob can do. He has to concede their position. As Jensen up in the lead, flying away a little bit out of the DRS of the Mangle. Mangle having to defend from Enzo now, so this could be the battle for the podium positions at the end of this Grand Prix. And who is going to be in second? It's going to be an exciting one. There's also the strategic possibilities of people pitting earlier, later, and over or undercut. The safety car as well can be a variable in this race. It's not the most unlikely thing in the world, we're going to see. Algard and Sniper going side by side into turn 3, and it looks like Sniper's made the move. That was a fantastic overtake from him. Algard just couldn't defend from it. Algard nearly losing control of the car now as Ken picks up a 3-second time penalty for himself, the first of the day. Stranger now next up looking to overtake Algard for P12. No points pay positions here. Only the top 10 in Ero, but yeah. Interesting to see so many cars derating already. Their energy packs are flashing. I'm intrigued as to why. They're pushing so hard. Jensen not pushing quite as much, but these guys desperate to make the overtake on each other. Bumpier clearly underfueling the car. That's going to be a brave strategy around Hungary, a track in which you do not save fuel. So Bumpier ones to look out for. He has broken out of Jacob's DRS now, and Jacob left to fend against Tam Tam. There's an overtake in the back of the field. And Zero Kenny without a front wings. Unfortunate to say. Kenny really not struggling quite a bit in this Grand Prix, unfortunately. And now he's going to come around the final corner and possibly, not possibly enter the pit lane. He definitely will enter the pit lane. But will he retire from the session? Well, he didn't get speeding in the pit lane penalty, so maybe not. Maybe yes. Unfortunate to see. See you next week. Sebran's had a miserable old race, hasn't he? Losing the car so slowly. But in all credit to Sebran, Sebran turns up every single week. You can't fault him at all, considering he's in a field of such talented drivers, and Sebran always sticks with it. Can't hate on that at all. There's a yellow flag. It's for Sniper Arctic, who's spun the car on the exit of turn 6. Very easy to do. And yeah, wow, his tyres have lit up like a firework. Very hard to keep this car under control, and Sniper's going to have to take this sector very slowly if he wants to make it back to the pit lane. Even the slightest steering input is him losing the car. It's unfortunate to see. Big gaggle cars forming from P6 to P9. Jacob just not being able to break away from the cars behind. As Jacob gets a 3-second time penalty. Which will obviously hurt his chances going forward, especially if there is a safety car in the mix, but he's going to need to break away from Tam Tam here. maybe Panos no guy to go for a move, but Tamtam is looking for a move. He's using the ERS, he's deploying, he's diving to the inside. He's ahead by the apex, but he pushes Jacob quite a bit wide. Jacob forced. Right, and Tamtam keeps the position. I'm not entirely sure that was a legal move though, so Jacob may have cause to report that incident. And Bumpia is caught up to Julian on these medium tyres and looking like he's going to try for an overtake. He doesn't have the ERS to call one off, but he does have the DRS. They're both flashing here. Bumpia is just not fast enough on the straight, but is he going to go for the dive? It is possible. Around to the outside, Bumpia goes. Julian defends pretty nicely. Bumpia looking for a switchback, it's just not on, but he's going to go to the inside of turn 3. He's going to go a little bit wide, but they keep it on track together. Lovely, lovely stuff, and I think Julian's going to get the moves to the corner. Oh, a little bit of a push and a shove, and Bumpier's overtaken off the track, so he's going to have to give the position back, but he keeps his nose in there for turn 5. Brave stuff, but at the end of the day, Julian keeps the position for now in P4. A very impressive effort from him so far. Smoking going for a move on Stranger. The Ero buddies battling hard for position. Stranger keeps the position for now. Smoking not quite able to use the momentum to go around the outside, but Stranger's went a bit slow into turn 3. Smoking looking for the overtake, but again, it's just not on. What a horrible camera angle. Why would anyone want a TV angle like that? It's worth noting that Lars is getting closer and closer every lap to Zane, but close but not quite close enough as Snoken makes a move on Stranger. I believe Stranger may have had a little bit of an issue coming out of that last corner. Snoken's make an overtake at that part of the track. Snoken does make it, nevertheless, into P12. And Pangri hot on the heels of Relentless Jet. Can Pangri go for the move? One of our own Ero drivers. He's not pushing with the ERS, so he's happy to stay behind for now. There's a 3-second time penalty. No need to push. I understand the logic. It does make quite a bit of sense. Oh, and Jacobs lost control of the car. Panos into P7, Sane making the overtake, so is Lars, and Jacob is going to get back on track before Algard reaches him, I believe so, but it's unfortunate nevertheless. Jacob down into P10. Pierre looking for an overtake on Julian once again. Julian really struggling with the ERS management, so is Bimpier. But Bimpier is not going to make the move stick this time out. Going to get a flag in Sector 1, and it's unfortunately for Algard spinning the car. Going to see, does he have damage? I don't believe so, but nevertheless, obviously not how he intended for this stint to end. It's going to be interesting to see if Bimpier pulls into the pit lane now. He appears to be falling a little bit to the wayside behind Julian. He can't make the overtake, and now he's maybe not even going to be in DRS. It's debatable. And into the pit lane, Bimpier does not go. He's going to get the DRS one last time. He's clinging on to the back of Julian like a snail's shell, but he's not going to make the move stick. Yeah, the DRS is really struggling. Demangle, I will say, quite an impressive effort from him to keep so close to Jensen ahead and defend from Enzo at the same time. Really good driving from him, although Jensen is pulling away. But in marginally, a couple of hundredths. This is one of those words I cannot say. Hundredths. I don't know how to say that word. Ignore me. We've got one person watching. Hi, Wodge. We've got 2 people watching. I'm also watching the stream. Whee! Ah. Is Liam a good singer? Yes, 66%. No, 33%. The 2 people that said no, I'm how do I say it? I'm really, really upset. You know, I put so many years into this voice just for you to not like it. Bimpier is staying out again. I think Bimpier is committing with a safety car here. This is some surprising strategy from him. I absolutely would have pitted by this point in the hards. I'm not going to serve you too well, Bimpier. He's pushing with all of the ERS he has, and maybe he's just content keeping... Oh, no! Oh, I've jinxed it. I'm so sorry. Bimpier's into the wall. His front wing is gone, and that is a very unsafe rejoin. 2, in fact. Bimpier down to P9, losing a little bit of a front wing. Ero Stranger also making a mistake, this time in an even worse position. He's going to have to drive backwards on track. Thankfully, that's not going to be a safety car. I don't know if he has damage. I can't see any damage visually. Not great from him, though, as Enzo has made the overtake for P2 during all of that carnage. Clearly slowing Demangle down quite a bit now. The gap has extended by a second between him and Jensen, but he is now past Demangle, and can Demangle keep up and regain his second place? It's going to be tight. We're going to see. I'm sure it'll be good though. Demangle using the DRS now. As we have our first pit, Lars van der Linden and Bimpier, who's unfortunately sped into the pit lane. That is not what he wanted to be doing. I can assure you of that. Lars looking to do an undercut on the drivers ahead, that being Tam Tam, Panos and Sain. Will be interesting to see if it works. The mediums are very good in Hungary, but they take a little while to cool up, you know, get up to temperature. They're very cold at the start of the session and the start of your stint. Algard picks up a 3-second time penalty. So does Sane. That is interesting to see. Two people getting 3-second time penalties at the same time. That does relieve a little bit of pressure from Panos. Lars struggling on these tyres, and there's a yellow flag against Ero Ps. Once again, possibly with rear wing damage this time. I don't wish it on him, but I think rear wing damage may be a bit of an issue, as Enzo and Demangle find themselves in the pit lane. So does Julian. But then Panos and Sam straight out with Sane going for another slight undercut. We're going to see what happens. Lars really did struggle in this outlap. I don't know if he would have gained time on the Sane. It's going to be tight. Jacob also into the pit lane. So is Algard. Also now being P6. Where is Lars going to come out? He comes out ahead of Jacob. Can he come out ahead of Sane? It is going to be tight, but not quite for now. Sane will be slow on this outlap though, so it's going to be interesting to see. Can Lars make an overtake somewhere? Maybe in Sector 2. I wouldn't bank on it, but I wouldn't count it out either. Also Sniper just ahead on these hard tyres after a poor first stint with a few mistakes. May play a little bit of a factor in this debacle. Pierre gets a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings for track limits. That is now 8 seconds for him. Obviously not what you want to see. Jensen now pitting. He went for a little bit of an overcut. Panos and Tam following him into the pit lane. Can Enzo and Demangle gain any time on him? I think it will be unlikely unless Jensen's had a really bad stint on the final lap, and no, he hasn't. Jensen has blown away with things. But who's going to win here? Sane or Tam? This will be a tight battle to see. He's going to go forward with Sane. He's going to jump Panos. Can he go around the outside of Tam, or does he even try it? No, not quite, but he does have the DRS to his advantage. He's pushing, using the ERS, trying to go to the inside of Tam. The move is just not going to stick for now, but Tam will be a little bit slow. You can see Sane basically pushing Tam around the circuit. Enzo gets a 3-second time penalty. Huge news for Seed. IoT Demangle. Or as Lars van der Linden picks up a 3-second time penalty. I think that may be, I'm going to check, his second. No, it isn't. It's Algard who's got him twice. Okay, my apologies. Let's go back to the tyre graphic. Snoken committing to staying out. He clearly thinks there's a safety car looming in the midst of all of this action. And I think he may be right. It's going to be interesting to see. Does he pit this lap? Can his hards go any longer? He's really slowing Julian down. And no, he pits. He's not waiting for the safety car any longer. Understandable, sir. Have a nice day. And so that's the fastest lap of the session, but he did get a warning. So questionable if that was actually the fastest lap or not. Jacobson fastest lap now at 1:18.6, as Otto comes out in P11 just behind Bumpier. Unfortunately, I can't tell you if that's close to what was already happening. It is what it is, however. T-Van pits and is going to come out behind Stranger, who's quite a distance away from P13, which is unfortunate for him because he's shown pretty good pace. It's just a few mistakes here and there, just like for many of these drivers, it's causing the massive gap you see here between Jacob and Lars. A whole 8 seconds separating the top half and the bottom half of the field. And Bimpier's gone once more. Those are the mistakes we're talking about. Bimpier falling down to P13. And yeah, these tyres are they're too hot, and it's unfortunate for Bimpier because he can't keep the momentum going. And every time he spins, there's more consideration about just retiring from the session. And it does look like Bimpier is entering the pit lane. A bit of an illegal pit entry as well. Yeah, heading into the pit lane. Is it going to be a retirement for Bimpier? The third retirement of the evening. And actually, no, he pits onto the soft compound of tyre. That is promising to see. Serving his 5-second time penalty. Bimpier is sticking with it. He's obviously hoping the safety car comes out pretty soon. He's on the softs. They're not going to go to the end, but he can set a fastest lap while he's at it. So interesting to see what happens here. Enzo failing to break away from Demangle, so Demangle is within the 3-second time penalty range and the DRS range. Good news for him on his quest for what I believe is his first podium of the season. Let me check with you right now. So yeah, it is 9th in the standings with 40 points at any of those podiums. Don't prove me wrong. No, it is not his best finish. Was 12th position. As it looks like Tam Tam made a little bit of a mistake, and Jacob is going to make the move on him. Tam Tam really far behind where he once was, so yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if Tam Tam has made a mistake somewhere. Maybe out on the exit of the final corner, but he falls down to P9, and he has a missing front wing end plate, confirming my suspicions. Maybe he's battling with Zane, or Panos got a little bit too hot to handle, but I apologise for missing the action there. Seemed like a very good overtake for the lead. Or for the lead for P5. And it wasn't a very good overtake if someone had crashed. Ignore everything I just said. We ain't got 12 more laps and we can forget this ever happened. Yellow flag in sector 2, and it's Algard losing control of the car. And unfortunately on these mediums, he's going to have to really struggle around this set of corners. Tam Tam losing the position to Ero Snoken now up into P9. Tam Tam I expect to be in the pit lane rather shortly for a fresh set of tyres. Sniper looking for an overtake as well, and yes he does. Tam Tam goes in. I believe that was also an illegal pit entry. Up to Stewart's discretion. It'll be Mikulitsky for today. Being the shade it was Luke the week before. I find it fascinating to see that Aurelian is on 221 points. And then it's Jensen on 213. Jensen no doubt will extend his lead. I think he'll have around about 238 points at the end of the day. 239 rather. And then the gap goes to 89 points for Sniper and Arctic. The gap between the front two has been immense. Those two are incredible compared to the rest of the field. It's a shame Aurelian isn't racing today. Hopefully we see Aurelian back in the Imola. Oh god, going very wide out of that turn. Spinning the car once more. These tyres are all kinds of messed up. Yeah, and it's not being a good day at the office for Algard, our standings creator. Yeah, we're losing the car once more. Once these tyres get hot, they get very hot. There's nothing you can do about it. You cannot cool these tyres down. And I'm surprised Algard's staying out, because I would have pitted for a new set of tyres in all honesty. I'm going to see, does he affect this battle? I don't believe so. I think he's actually trying to let them free, possibly. Tam Tam defending from Stranger. Tam Tam does not have the DRS. And he won't get the DRS for this second straight. Braking very early because of Algard ahead. Algard is going to battle with Tam Tam a little bit. to the inside. Who can get the position here? Algard, we don't want to see you spin into another car. Please keep the car on track. Good stuff. Tam Tam and Algard side by side up to turn 5. Who has the bottle to go for the move? Both of them do, and there's contact, and they've both been spun around, and that is not what you wanted to see. Leon Stranger making up 2 positions there, and Algard and Tam Tam both losing control of the car. And a lot of these drivers are looking dangerously close to being lapped here. I must say, everyone from Stranger down to Bumpier looking very close to being lapped. Bumpier slowed down by T-Brand, who has had a pretty clean end to this race, bringing him back up into contention for some points. But Bumpier stuck behind. If he was planning for going for another fastest lap, it's not going to be today. He just cannot make this overtake work. Although I believe on the main DRS straight, he's going to get his wish. Jensen is going to a lap T-Brand at the very least, I believe. But it's going to be interesting to see how many cars can Jensen lap. Maybe a first. So Bumpier to the outside he goes, looking for a switch back. T-Brand tries to defend the line, but Bumpier is going to get the traction. He's going to be on the outside of turn 3 as well. He's going to have to swing the car very wide to avoid contact. There's a little bit of rubbing. They both keep it on track. Good battling. Good old-fashioned battling. And Bumpier finds himself in P14. Oh, 3-second time penalty. Bumpier, 3-second time penalty. Been a race to forget for these 2 drivers. But Bumpier very, very close to the back of Algard already. He's pushing on these tyres with everything he has. Snoken with a 3-second time penalty now. Not great for his race. And Sniper all over the back of him. Sniper's pushing Snoken to his limit, the F2 driver. He uses line in F2, but no line in F1. Trying his hardest, his damned hardest, but he's struggling a little bit for pace. Sniper using the DRS, who's hot on the heels of Ero Snoken. Snoken flashing. Sniper to the outside for turn 1, who's going to make the move. Stick. Sniper nearly squeezed off wide, but Sniper has to concede for now. It's the outside of turn 3 again. It's going to be an audacious overtaking opportunity from Sniper here, and he's just about going to be squeezed, but he gets the move done. Snoken having to abide sooner rather than later. A fantastic overtake by Sniper to go into P9, and Sniper just needs to catch up to Jacob now, and he could even be P8 as shooting. It's a 3-second time penalty, and Bumpier pits once again. He's now retired from the session. Bumpier has given up, and fair enough. So Jensen, can he lap T-Brand? Can he lap Algard? It's gonna be tight, but Jensen has such a pace advantage at this track. Jensen has been doing really, really well, settling into the groove with his new pedals. Aren't that new anymore because it's been about 2 months, but they were new once upon a time. Jensen, look at the gap he's already made between him and Tebran. Jensen looking to move into 14th position. It's been a great race from... I'm joking, I'm sorry. Something else to talk about, I'm sorry. Yellow flag in sector 3. Tebran allowing Jensen through. Yeah, Jensen. A man possessed. I think Tamtam and Strango are going to be a little bit too far ahead for Jensen to lap. But with one mistake, maybe two, it's definitely possible. That's all I'm going to say about it. Can Jensen lap Algard by, let's say, lap 1? Algard is facing blue flag, swinging a little bit wide. They're swinging it around for the double hairpin. Fantastic corners. I don't know, are they hairpins? They're not really, but they're like loop-de-loops. I think hairpin describes what I'm trying to say at least. That's T-Brand now, yep, letting the other cars through, and I have a feeling that Enzo might have got DRS there, and that's going to hurt Demangle quite considerably. Can Demangle stay in the gap of a second? The DRS gap is going to be tight. I'm not entirely sure, but we're going to see. Demangle looks like he's fine here, but Enzo now has 2 attempts to gain in only 2 sectors. It's certainly possible here. Demangle lost his neutralizer. It became an equalizer, and that's not what Demangle wants. Demangle already nearly a second out. He's going to have to push very hard if he wants to stay in the 3-second gap. Enzo will know how important this stint is. The final laps of this race, he needs to push with everything he has. Otherwise, this P2 is not going to be his. It's worth saying that Pangar is looking very good for another top 5 finish. He made quite a few of them today, or this week, this season. My apologies. Can he make another one stick? Lars with a 3-second time penalty. Not what you want to see, but Lars appears to be in a world of his own currently. Not the biggest issue to have ever happened. Algard in the pits. Onto the set of soft tyres, I imagine. And it also looks like Tam Tam is ready to pit after telling his team to box. Yep, Algard onto a soft compound. Onto the soft compound of tyre. Will he be lapped by Lars before getting out of the pit lane? It's going to be a little bit tight. No, it isn't. Algard is fine. But if he wants to conserve these tyres a little bit and then get going again, he's going to have to slow down, let Lars through, and then push. Maybe even get a little bit of DRS if possible. Although it's going to be hard here because you don't want to be stuck behind someone. Sector 2, there's a yellow flag, and that is Tam Tam losing control of the car. Is that damage for him? I don't believe so. No, it isn't. Oh no, it is. He's lost a front wing end plate on the right side of the car. Definitely coming into the pits now. Expect him. Maybe he didn't get it fixed to begin with. That's possible. But he's going to pit, go into the soft compound of tyre. But given there's only 3 laps to go here, and Tantan's about to be lapped, he needs to push. He needs to push quite hard. Demangle now 1.5 seconds behind, out of the DRS range of Enzo. Using everything he has, he just needs to stay within 1.4 seconds for the rest of this race. It's going to be tight, but I do believe it is possible. And Stranger, unfortunately, looks like points are not going to be on the card today. He's P11, 30 seconds behind a P10. It takes a retirement for him to make up that gap. But let's see what happens. So Jensen is now lapped. T-Bran, Algard, and Tam Tam. Stranger, if Stranger chooses to go for the fastest lap, which I think would be a wise call, he is going to be pitting just about now and hoping he gets out ahead of... No, actually. No, he'd be fine, actually. Yeah, Stranger into the pit lane. Getting ready to put on a set of the soft compound of tyre. Jensen on lap 33 is going to come in for lap 34. Leon will be able to set a lap time. Stranger, rather. And Stranger is going to beat T-Brand as well. He comes out just behind Demangle in third. Demangle losing 3 tenths to Enzo that lap. It's going to be very tight, the battle for second, as Algard sets the fastest lap at 1:17.5. That's going to be a point to his total if he can keep the position, which is going to be tough with Tam Tam and Stranger hot on the hunt for that. Hot in the hunt. Hot with their, what is it? I don't know. I don't know anymore. You know what I'm trying to say. I'm not great with analogies. I'm the Derek Chisora of F1 analogies. It doesn't work most of the time. And I doubt anyone actually knows Derek Chisora here, so what can I do? But we got 2 laps of racing action to go, and Demangle needs to push. Needs to push. There's going to be 1 more lap of racing. Demangle is 2.4 behind. If he loses another 6 tenths, it is over for him. P2 will not be his. Enzo being helped out quite greatly by the lapped car of T-Bran, who's really, really saved Enzo's bacon, so to speak. Enzo pushing, catching up to Jensen as well. He really is looking like the fastest man on track right now, actually. I'm going to have to say. Something impressive stuff from him. But let's see, we're going to have to monitor this gap very closely. They're both going to be pushing with everything they have. The Mangle, no ERS at all. Enzo coming out of this corner. Is he going to use the ERS? I'm surprised he isn't. Tam Tam says the fastest lap at 1:17.2, 3 tenths faster than Algard's lap. What can Stranger do, however? We don't know. He's going to get the DRS. He's a lapped car, though. Is he going to drive through this McLaren of Demangle? That is not what Demangle needs right now. Demangle needs to focus, and Stranger has driven through him, and that may actually be the reason Demangle loses the position. It's going to be tight. It's 2.3. What's it? 2.8 now. There's only a tenth in it. Who is going to take P2? It's so tight. There's literally nothing in it anymore. Demangle needs to have the best laps of his life. Jensen is coming around the final corner to win in Hungary, but this is the action we need to see. It's going to be tight. It's going to be tight. 3 seconds. It just hit 2.9. Who is going to make it onto P2? I believe Demangle has just about done it. Yes, he has. IRT Demangle finds himself P2. Shizu Jensen celebrating his well-deserved race win. Enzo just not able to build a big enough gap, finds himself P3. Julian P4. Pangri will find himself P5, which is insane. P6, Lars and the Relentless Jet next across the line. Although Sniper will snatch P8 from Jacob based on penalties. And then Snoken, with a 50-second gap between him and the car behind, will easily find himself P10. Plenty of the cars have lapped. I believe that was actually 4 cars lapped. So in the end, I was correct. Only the top 10 on the main lap. Fantastic stuff from Jensen. A truly dominant display. Always had it controlled. No interview today. I'm very, very sorry. Gonna see. So Jensen's lead in the championship now goes to 20. No, not 26. It is going to be 18 points. So some very impressive stuff from Jensen. Jensen wins his race for the Demangle. Enzo, the final man on the podium. Julian finds himself P4 with Panos and Sane just behind Lars, Sniper, Jacob and Snoken round up the points paying positions with Stranger, T-Brand, Tam Tam and Algard lapped, with Boomty, Kenny and the rotation retiring from the session. That has been it, folks. Not the best stream, I apologise. I was a little late to stand in once again. I was actually supposed to be racing, but it is what it is. I've been your host, Liam Cross. This has been Ero Ps F1 in Hungary, round 12 of season 9. Stay tuned for next week. It's a special one. We're going to Emilia Romagna. Imola. Can't wait to see you there. But without further ado, have a nice night, boys.